What up, guys? Knowledge is self-determination. Back with you guys with some more boxing. So the word is out that Triple G's next opponent is going to be Billy Joe Saunders, June 7th, I believe, in Kazakhstan. I'm not mad about Triple G getting a hometown fight. He's been a road warrior for the majority of his career, from what I understand. So I'm not mad at that man getting a hometown fight. That I can't find any reason to complain about. Billy Joe Saunders, can't really complain about that fight because if it's for Billy Joe's title and to unify the middleweight division, again, there's not much to complain about when it comes to that, because he's going to unify the middleweight division. It's fine. Giving Danny Jacobs a rematch, I don't even think the thought has even popped into their minds to consider it anyway. Now, to completely circumnavigate the idea of giving Danny Jacobs a rematch, without a doubt. Triple G and his team weren't confident that they won that fight. You could tell by the language that was being used in the corner. You can tell by Abel Sanchez's insistence upon Triple G knocking Danny Jacobs out in the 12th round. Why would he be hard pressed for Triple G to knock Danny Jacobs out if he felt as though Triple G had a clean sweep of the fight? I mean, just holding contrast that minute in between the 11th and 12th round, the conversation with Abel Sanchez and Triple G versus other guys like say Floyd Mayweather and Roger Mayweather. Roger Mayweather, that minute in between the 11th and 12th round. You hear from Roger Mayweather saying stuff like, "Keep doing what you're doing. You won the fight. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't let this motherfucker get near you. Don't let him touch you." You know what I'm saying? But 9 times out of 10, when you hear a trainer in the corner with his fighter in that minute between the 11th and 12th round and say, "You got to go out there and knock him out," they don't believe they won the fight. Because why else would you need to knock out a fighter that you've beaten soundly? You wouldn't need to. Why take the chance? Because this is one of the more stronger premises in boxing. If you go looking for a knockout or chasing a knockout, the chances are you may get knocked out. So the only time you're willing to risk getting touched and put down is when you're losing a fight and you have nothing to lose at this point. You have to go for broke. So with that being said, I agree with 7 8 Sports. Danny Jacobs is the best middleweight right now to me. He is the best middleweight in the world right now. So far as Golovkin being pound for pound, I mean, he has all the belts. You can put him in. I guess you can put him somewhere on the list, but in the top 5, no. In the top 5, I can't see Triple G, and I don't make pound for pound lists, But if I was to make one, Triple G couldn't be in the top 5 because pound for pound to me not only means belts that you have acquired, also level of competition and opposition. How well you fared against that upgrade in competition and opposition. And how many different weight classes have you actually beaten top competition? Pound for pound. Pound for pound, and from what I understand, means that this fighter, if he could acclimate to any weight class, he would still be the superior fighter in that weight class. We have tons of fighters that have done it. Manny Pacquiao's done it. 8 weight classes? And he's been a champion in at least, 6 or 7 of them? You feel me? Floyd Mayweather, 5 weight classes, and he was a champion in every single one of them? Adrian Broner is a 4-time champion in different weight classes. Terrence Crawford is now in his 2nd weight class, dominating. I mean, Bernard Hopkins went from middleweight all the way up to light heavyweight and became a champion. Roy Jones Jr., same thing, went all the way up to heavyweight and became a champion. You know what I'm saying? Andre Ward, middleweight, super middleweight. Now, light heavyweight, pound for pound. Lomachenko was doing it. He's going through weight classes, winning championships, and humiliating dudes. These are pound for pound type fighters. These are pound for pound guys. Triple G is not in that. He's not in the top 5. Who did I name? Andre Ward. I named Lomachenko. And this is, and as you can see, I'm not doing generational boundaries here. But I mean, these guys are just coming off hand. You know, Lomachenko, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Who else did I say? Bernard Hopkins. And I said Adrian Broner. I say Terrence Crawford also. You know, I'm not saying that Adrian Broner is a pound for pound because he hasn't really proven himself at 147. And that fight with Granados was pretty tough. But he was just an example of a champion fighter who has gone up different weight classes and won championships in those different weight classes. You know, to me, that's what a pound for pound guy would have to do. I'm not saying that Adrian Broner is pound for pound, but that's what a pound for pound guy would have to do to some extent. You know, in my book, to be pound for pound, my pound for pound list, if I made one, would be a lot more strict, a lot more stringent than others. You know, because those things will have, all those things will have to line up. You know, you can't take one of these things out of the puzzle and make it fit in my book. You know, or you win all these belts, but you haven't beaten anybody in a different weight class. Then you can't be pound for pound in my opinion. This is my opinion now. This is my opinion. If you haven't proven pound for pound status, meaning pound for pound weight class status, weight class for weight class, because let's just call it that, weight class for weight class, is Gennady Golovkin one of the best fighters in the world? Weight class for weight class. Who has he beaten? What top-notch fighter has he beaten at in 160? He got the nod against Danny Jacobs, but we all know he didn't win that fight, but he got the win. Okay. Who else? You can't count Dominic Wade. David Lemieux. I don't think David Lemieux never made anybody's pound for pound list. Who else? Who is he beating at 154? At 168? At 175? Who has he beaten? It seems like every tough fight, every really, really tough fight that comes up, they find a way to avoid those fights. They couldn't avoid the Danny Jacobs fight, and on top of that, they thought they would win that fight by knockout like most people did. But in any event, the Canelo and Triple G fight is seemingly off because he's going to move up to 168 after the Billy Joe Saunders fight, which I think everybody has Gennady Golovkin slated to win that fight, and I do, because I mean, again, like I said in my other videos, boxing, from what I learned from the late great Mac Lewis, is 90% mental, 90 to 95% mental. If your mental is gone or depleted, you may lose that fight. If you're mentally not in the game, you're gonna lose that fight. You know, Billy Joe Saunders has already psyched himself out of the fight by saying things like Triple G will beat me and every other middleweight in the same night with one hand. I mean, could he swing from Triple G's nuts any harder than he did when he made that statement? I think not. But in any event, he beats Billy Joe Saunders, and the way he looked in his last outing, I mean, yeah, he should just retire. He should just give up the belt and retire. Fight Triple G, get your last payday, and just leave the sport alone, man. Leave the sport alone. Because I'm gonna be honest, Billy Joe Saunders is a clown to me. He's a sucker. You know what I'm saying? He waits. He'll say stuff like, "Oh no, I can't. No, I'm not thinking about that fight." And then the guy gets into a fight with another guy, so the fight's made. Now he wants to talk trash. Oh yeah, we can fight next. We can fight less. The guy looks good after the fight. Then he goes silent. Every time Triple G fights somebody that the world says, quote unquote, exposes him, Billy Joe Saunders sticks his head out of his shell and starts talking trash. After the Kell Brook fight, he did the same thing, and then he got quiet again. Now, after the Danny Jacobs fight, he's talking trash. I haven't even watched any interviews with this dude because I don't want my ears to have to listen to the sewage that's going to come out of his mouth. I don't even want to hear this dude talk about the fight because he's already proven himself to be a pussy in my eyes. Like 7, call him what? Billy Ho Saunders? Man, get out of here. This dude is a clown, a straight sucker. But later for that dude. But so they're not even considering the Canelo Alvarez fight. Now here's the thing. I think he went to the UK and made $5 million with the Kell Brook fight. Before that, I think he made $2 million in his fight with whoever he fought before Kell Brook. I can't even think of it at the moment. He just made 2.7 million or something to the effect with Danny Jacobs, but he turned down 15 million to fight Canelo at 155. At 160 too, they revamped they revamped the weight and said, oh yeah, we'll do it at 160. He still turned down $15 million to take a $2.75 million fight with Danny Jacobs. Dog, no matter how you stack those numbers, that math don't add. It doesn't. No matter how you stack those numbers, that math does not add. Doesn't add up. You turned down 15 million to take 2.75. I don't understand that. Why not fight this dude? Because you weren't getting a larger percentage of the you weren't getting a larger share of the percentages, the aftermarket percentages and stuff like that, the pay-per-views and all that stuff. Seriously? I mean, from what I understand, you were getting a percentage. It just wasn't the percentage that you thought you were worth. Now, as I've seen it, you know, unless you're Canelo, who is just a wildly popular guy, usually in boxing, the standard, the stencil, if you would, is a fighter's paychecks are largely based on the fighter's resume. Floyd Mayweather has been able to garner the salaries, the checks that he has in boxing because of his resume, because of who he's beaten. And everybody wants to see who can possibly beat Floyd. People are paying the money to see Floyd fight because a lot of people want to see him win, but even more people want to see him lose. And if they don't believe that the person that's in front of Floyd can beat him, they're not going to turn out like that. Case in point, the Andre Berto fight. Andre Berto fight did not do nearly as well as his previous fights have done. It still did pretty decent, but it didn't do nearly as well. Why? Because nobody saw Andre Berto beating Floyd. Nobody saw Andre Berto beating Floyd at all. You understand? No, I don't think anybody even gave Andre Berto a shot at beating Floyd. So, how does Golovkin figure that he needs more than 15 million to fight Canelo when Canelo is the A side? Canelo has the better resume. You understand what I'm saying? He has the better resume. So actually, his popularity and his resume, you know, warrants him making the kind of money that he makes. Triple G hasn't done that. And again, I'm not throwing shade at Triple G. These are the facts. I'm not hating on him, man. I like Triple G. You know, I like Triple G. I like to see him do some things much better in the ring also. He's a seemingly pretty good guy. You know, and I like Sergey Kovalev and his racist ass piece of shit. But moving along, yeah, no, I don't. You know, I'm not trying to diss Golovkin at all. But it's not looking good, man. After that loss to Danny Jacobs, well, after that quote unquote win to Danny Jacobs, I think Golovkin's team is like, yeah, you know, we're gonna just move on out of the middleweight division. What does he do at 168? Who does he fight at 168 that isn't going to be as much of a threat, almost as much of a threat or challenge as Danny Jacobs was? Because you know he's going to go for the weakest links at 168 at first. You know that. You know he's going to go for the weakest links at 168. But those dudes at 168 are going to be chomping at the bit to get at Gennady Golovkin. The monster of the middleweight division has moved up. Now is our opportunity. They are going to be trying to get at this dude. And with moving up to 168, is this kind of them forecasting a possible fight with Andre Ward? No, I don't think so. I think they're probably using kind of the same tactic that it seems like Canelo is used, by moving out of a weight class to avoid a potential big fight with somebody who you could possibly lose to. I mean, look at what Canelo's been doing, fighting at 155, so he can avoid all the best fighters at 160 and the best fighters at 154. Create a new weight class and then pull up who you want to pull up, who's willing to come up, who's willing to take the bait like Amir Khan did. He took the bait and got snuffed. So, I mean, who knows? And again, I like Canelo too, but dog, you're not fighting anybody. You're coming up to fight Chavez Jr., which that's not a give me fight. I don't care what anybody says is technically unsound as Chavez Jr. is. That is not a give me fight for Canelo. It's not. But he went down to 154, fought Liam Smith, avoided everybody at 154, then bam, dropped the belt, and then jumped out of the weight class. Jumped out of the division. I'm not really understanding all these political or all these strategic acrobats and gymnastics that a lot of these fighters are using nowadays, man. I'm really not feeling it. I mean, these sorts of things have always been done, but it's just even more blatant now. I'm not feeling it at all. The best should fight the best. If you can fight and you think you can win, fight the guys you think you can beat. Step up, test yourself, challenge yourself. You're gonna make the money regardless. And everybody who is trying to do what Floyd did, you have to do it the way Floyd did it in order to repeat the process. You guys aren't doing it the way, there's only a few fighters out there that are doing it the way Floyd did it, fighting everybody. Vasily Lomachenko is one of those guys. He's willing to fight anybody. He's willing to fight the best in any weight class he goes to in order to prove he's the best. He's doing it. Terrence Crawford is willing to fight anybody they put in front of him. And, you know what I'm saying? Errol Spence is willing to fight anybody you put in front of him. You know, there are a lot of guys out there who are willing to do this. Andre Ward is willing to fight anybody you put in front of him. Sergey Kovalev is willing to fight anybody you put in front of him. Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the kid Joe Smith Jr., he's gotten 2 upsets so far. He's willing to fight anybody you put in front of him. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, come on. I mean, we have to be realistic when it comes to this boxing stuff, man. We can't just keep letting these guys get passes on all this garbage that they're doing. I'm not mad at Triple G trying to unify the middleweight division. You know, I'm not even mad at him going up to 168 if it is to challenge himself. But there's still enough challenges at 160 that you haven't met yet, like the rematch with the kid, Danny Jacobs, or even fighting Canelo at 160. But if Canelo has surpassed 160 to fight at pretty much a super middleweight at 164, he's only 4 pounds away from the 168 limit, which means that Canelo might go up and meet you there and try to fight you there. It's possible. I don't know if he's trying to avoid the fight with Canelo, but it's kind of looking that, it kind of smells that way to me. But anyway, those are my thoughts on it. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Canelo Triple G fight. He's vacating the titles. He's going to obviously, after he beats Billy Joe Saunders, they're saying he's going to move up to 168. Who knows what awaits him at 168? Well, we know that there's a ton of challenges awaiting him at 168 without a doubt. How does Triple G fare at 168? I don't know. We saw what he did against a bigger, probably stronger opponent in Danny Jacobs. He didn't look too good. Now, he's moving up to a higher weight class where the guys are probably just as big as Danny Jacobs, if not bigger. Just as strong, if not stronger. So, we'll see, guys. We'll see. Peace.